I know, me too. I love when there's more me's. Welcome to Cut the Sith Mandalorian Recap Show. Today we'll be discussing Season 1, Chapter 3, The Sin. And with me, as always, I have the Death Watch, Alex and Paige, to say hello to the people.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
Seer and Sierra, say hello to the people.
Hey.
Hater of Kanan.
Yeah, that would be me, I guess. What's up?
See, you don't get to say hi. You just get to be there. I was going to say Colin, say hi, but he just changed his name again.
Well, that's you. Your call, not me.
Colin, former Colin. Ryan, what's
The
up?
artist formerly known as Colin.
Now that Ryan has spoken, let's get into it. This episode was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was
Sweet Mandalorian action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whistling birds.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
Those are pretty cool.
I want to bring something up right off the start. So, if whoever hired the client to get the baby specifically was like, you got to bring it in alive, why did IG-11's fob say it had to be dead? I need answers. I need answers.
I made a note about the same thing. I want to know who it is.
Yeah, because it's like, you get the little nerdy scientist guy going, well, they said it has to be alive. And the client's like, you know what, just extract whatever you need from it and be done with it. But then IG-11 in episode 1 was like, well, it specifically says to kill the thing. I was like, no, you're just a murderous little droid. Can't be trusted. So I need
the other dudes that went after Mando and the child in episode 2 were trying to kill too, right?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. So,
we shall see.
Well, I'm interested. I'm pretty interested about all that. I just
what's going on?
And the whole idea that the scientists had a Kaminoan patch on them. Like,
Oh, they're definitely cloning this little thing.
Absolutely.
That's the only thing I can think for it.
Or maybe the child already is a clone.
Of Yaddle.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's been calling it Baby Yoda, and they just throw the curveball. It's Baby Yaddle.
I mean, I'd love that. You know this.
I just feel like it would have more feminine-like features if it was a girl. Like
I don't know
a little more hair.
if there's any male or feminine features on the thing. It's a green little ball with ears.
Yaddle is Yoda with a ponytail.
Yeah.
And a little bit more like rambunctious of a style.
Yeah, a little bit of a sass.
I have a question.
Ask away.
How
raise
big?
Your hands.
How big was this building they were hiding in? Because it had like a ton of rooms and like 20 stormtroopers. It seemed pretty big for an alleyway.
Yeah.
They just they bombed out the whole apartment complex and just took over the whole building.
Yeah, when he blew up that wall.
So it must suck being a stormtrooper in the post-Empire world.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're continuing the meme of them being just terrible in general.
And they will continue that more in the series.
And this time around, let's be honest, they're dirty as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody clearly cares about keeping their armor clean in any way, shape, or form.
Listen,
Not even a little bit of pride in themselves.
They're probably making peanuts being like personal security guards for these dudes. They're just miserable.
Well, like you've seen too how little Imperial credits run for nowadays in the first episode, like how little it actually matters anymore where they come from.
Mm-hmm. So I do like that at least I think they're going to Mon Calamari, or at least somewhere in the next season. Clearly, where it's a water world for the most part. I do like that the Mon Calamari do keep kind of showing up everywhere.
Was that who it was on that like fob that he was gonna take?
Exactly, and
like,
he said
I need a new job.
Yeah, and he said it was someone in the nobility's like nephew or something like that.
Nobleman's son, Skip Bail or something.
Mm. So I don't know. I love the Mon Calamari. I think they're a good species.
Dude, so that armor looks sweet now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
That's not right.
What was
like,
that one meme where it's just like, I appreciate how the Mandalorian blew his entire paycheck immediately on an entire new set of armor,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
like any
Oh,
of
yeah.
us would have done. I find that meme very accurate, honestly. It's
I have
solid.
3 pairs of Star Wars sneakers. Technically, one was a gift from Sierra, but the other 2 I did just blow paychecks on.
You said something about the running guy.
And I'm just like, ooh, but I need to know more about the armor because me and Alex been talking about this a lot. She has the Maul horns.
Mm-hmm.
And she has red armor. I'm just. I'm not saying she was directly in the sewers with Maul when it all hit the fan in Clone Wars, but she's not making a very good case that she wasn't part of Maul's Death Watch.
And she kept the horns, so I mean, she definitely rode with that man throughout all of Clone Wars.
I don't know. It's just it's like a little side thing that I kind of really like, and I guess the idea in Clone Wars with the Mandalorians being Maul and the Mandalorians using the tunnels is obviously because it's easy access and the sewer systems and all that type of stuff. You can get around, relatively undetected. So I also have an idea that that's where the whole idea of them kind of going subterranean may come from.
Mm-hmm.
Just a generally good little hiding spot to keep away, but still be able to get around.
That was when she was forging the armor for him, and they had the little flashback, and it shows like him as a baby, or like a child.
Mm-hmm.
That's during the Clone Wars, right? Because the droids are attacking.
That's
Yeah.
what I think.
Yeah, they're super battle droids, so they would have to be like in the middle of the Clone Wars at that point. They weren't developed until like around 22 years before the Battle of Yavin. So yeah.
Bo-Katan, nice name, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was
I had to mirror yours, so
a lot of references. Well, at least I thought to Clone Wars in here, mainly just because my boy Paz Vizsla. Is it Paz or Pax? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Has,
I think it's
right?
Paz.
It's spelled
It's
Paz, but I just don't know how to pronounce it. Pre Vizsla was the best character in Clone Wars, easily. We don't have to talk about that, but that's just an objective fact. And to see his, I don't know, because it's been what? How many years has it been since Clone Wars, Steve?
if they ended in 19 before Battle of Yavin, then it's been about 26 years
All
since
right.
the end of the Clone Wars.
So this dude could be like his son or his nephew or something. Because it's
I'm
like,
sorry, 28. I can't count.
Maybe.
and I'm just like, and he shows up and he's spitting straight facts about how the Empire just like ruined the Mandalorians and now they're hiding in their little hidey holes in the sewers. And it sounds like he might be like 2 steps away from going to that Mandalorian rhetoric that Pre Vizsla was spitting to Satine about how like, we're warriors. We should be warriors. So I want to see more of him because I want to see if eventually the Mandalorians do try and rise up and become something again, not be like keep hiding and relocating whenever their like hideouts are blown. Because this man, I'd do anything for a Vizsla.
Reasonable.
That's what I'm saying. Does anyone else got anything else to say?
Well, how did the other Mandalorians know that he needed them?
The Mandalorians know everything.
They sensed it.
I assume they
got
probably
the
have
chills
like.
when they all showed up.
I assume that everyone we saw when he was with the armor isn't all of them. They probably have lookouts there, like relaying messages or something. Because they probably have because they are all hiding out there, so they probably have people keeping watch 24/7
Yeah.
to make sure that spot doesn't get blown up. And they're probably what's his name's down there like 50-1 right now. And that's the other thing I love about these dudes, about the Mandalorians. Not that dudes is a gender neutral term. That's what I love about my Mandalorians. Paz Vizsla and Din have this like fight with each other, and then when the armor says it stops, and then like within hours, they're
Mhm.
fighting side by side with each other because they're brothers. And even though they
Because
have
it's the way.
disagreement, yeah, it is the way. Even though they have a disagreement and they fight with each other, if you if me and Alex get in a fight and someone punches Alex 10 minutes later, I'm fucking hitting that dude 10 times harder than I hit Alex. This is the way, baby.
So he like makes a comment to Paz that's like you have to relocate something, and what did he say? The Cobras or something?
It's like
I didn't
the
catch
convent.
the word.
Maybe like just like the
Yeah.
term for like where they're
At the
staying, a
convents where
hideout
the
maybe.
nuns are.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, it was just they had to relocate where they're like hiding out now because now they're like spots been blown up.
Yeah.
Which is why I think they have people that are watching. That's why they knew that Din was in trouble.
Hmm.
Do we know the armorer's name?
Not at this point.
No, we do not.
Seems very calm. Like while they were fighting, she was just like sort of like monotone and just continue on like, guys, I don't know. I feel like she had like no reaction. I don't know, very reserved kind of person.
Hmm.
I feel like she was pretty unfazed by it. Yeah, she's probably
Yeah.
seen this kind of stuff for years.
I mean, when you
Yeah.
work for Darth Maul, you see some shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made the connection that she was part of Maul because I guess The Mandalorian, the original first season, like it came out before the Clone Wars season 7 did, before like you see, Saxon and Cast, I want to say her name was, and
Yeah.
like a bunch of the other Mandalorians, and they all adopt like the horns out of the helmet and whatnot. So I did not immediately make that connection the first time I watched it, but rewatching them, and now that you mention it, it's like, oh, that is
Yeah, same here. It was my rewatch after I watched Clone Wars because I
Mhm.
rewatched Clone Wars before season 7, and now I'm rewatching Mandalorian, and then I was like saying to Alex, like this chick was definitely Maul because Maul's crew's the only one that had the horns on the helmet because they only had the horns on the helmet because of him.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't really see any other decorative pieces or anything like that. Usually the Mandalorian helmets, like they're either empty in that beautiful circular shape, or some of them have the eyepieces and the targeting locks. And Vizsla had, it looked like a couple of things on his helmet, but usually seems like if there's anything that's gonna be on the helmet, it's tactical, not decorative.
And she didn't remove the horns either, so I think she's still Team Maul.
Hmm.
But I
'Cause
also love
we
that
see what
her
she could
helmet's
do
gold.
when she's armoring. She
Yeah.
could
She's pretty
easily take
lethal.
those horns
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, let's just do that.
I was gonna say in the last meeting you guys mentioned that Mandalorians actually are seen without their helmets on. So this thing about Mandalorians not being able to remove their helmet, do you think this is like a new thing, or is that already known as part of their code prior? Because I don't know that much about them.
I don't know, and I would like to know that because during
Like,
Clone
it's just
Wars,
their sector, I don't know.
during Clone Wars, they walk around with their helmets off all the time.
Yeah.
Same in
So
Rebels
that's
too,
new
yeah.
in
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
So,
But oh, go ahead, Colin.
oh no, I was done talking. You can go, Steve.
So the other thing too is that like the Mandalorian, I don't know if it's, I watched the whole series again like a couple weeks ago. I don't know if it's this episode or if it's in like a subsequent one, but he indicates that like he hasn't taken the helmet off, basically since he came of age, which I would assume meant that like once he turned 18 or something like that, he hasn't taken the helmet off. So I assume that like it's the rules of a very extreme, very, for lack of a better word, dogmatic part of the Mandalorians, I would say. That's my theory. But like Colin said, I don't think they've actually officially confirmed why that's the case. So it's new in the sense of like it hasn't happened before in other shows, but like old in the sense that he's been doing it for close to 30 years ish.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
I was gonna say, I would assume a big part of it is I'm gonna go ahead and assume the armorer at the end of the day wasn't a huge fan of Duchess Satine's pacifist ideology and all of that. So I agree with you 100%. It seemed, yeah, I agree with you. It seems like we're in the sewers, we're stuck, we're nothing. But at the end of the day, we're still Mandalorians, and this is how we show it is through the helmet.
Yeah.
It must suck having that helmet on all day. It does not look comfortable at all.
Yeah, no.
Especially on the times when you go to certain planets with twin suns. It must be
Mhm.
really hot.
Mhm.
Do they have
Yeah,
like fans or like air conditioning built into them? I want to know.
I can't even wear masks like the full time shopping. Like right when I'm out of the store, I'm like,
So there was a pep rally once in high school, and they asked us, like 3 of us, to dress up in tiger mascot costumes, and I made sure to grab the costume that had the fan built into the head.
Oh,
And
nice.
let me tell you,
Yeah.
it helped. It did not help that much. It was like the top of my head was like cool, and then everything else was covered in sweat.
Oh man.
Like neck down was just a
Oh,
puddle.
that must have felt weird.
But it was like, that's why I want to know how it works with his like giant metal suit of armor when he's walking through like the desert with 2 suns just beating down on him. And
Yeah.
fighting like monsters and shit.
I also wonder where the foundlings are.
Me too, yeah.
Hmm. I wrote something down about that. Where did I go?
Because they just kind of just like throw that in there and just move on. It's like, oh yeah, save some
Well,
for the foundlings. You're like, yep.
Yeah, it's like a
future.
donation fund. Are they like?
It probably is. It probably is donation towards like their first armor since they can't like go out and get it themselves.
She said the
Next
foundlings of the
foundling.
future, like you said, and then I just think like maybe it's a reference to like Baby Yoda, like being like brought up as a Mandalorian, like maybe it's foreshadowing about
He
him.
will. He is
Like-
going to get brought up as a Mandalorian.
Nice.
You think so?
Yes,
Like you sure?
excited.
First off, somebody has to wield the dark saber.
Okay.
Yep.
The baby Yoda.
Well, it should be.
Are there
Paz
a lot
Vizsla.
of Mandalorians with powers, like force powers?
Tar Vizsla, but that was like what, during the Old Republic? When
That was
that?
a long time back.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was one Jedi one Mandalorian who was taught the ways of the Jedi, and he's the one who created the dark saber originally. Subsequent generations of Mandalorians like raided the Jedi Temple, I want to say, and stole it and
Stole
used-
it back. It
Stole it
belonged
back.
it belonged to their family.
Mhm.
It's a Vizsla heirloom that the Jedi stole.
No explanation at all.
Yeah, but the Jedi are undefeated in wars against the Mandalorians.
Listen, the Mandalorians have a very bad track record come battle. Except for when they had Maul. They dominated when Maul was at the head of the table.
It's true. Yeah.
The Mandalorians were... If it wasn't for Order 66, the
Mandalorians?
Mandalorians would be dominating the galaxy right now.
Yeah.
That was one of their like secret hashtags when the final season of Clone Wars came out. They put all the hashtags. They specifically didn't put Mandalorians. But if you hashtagged Mandalorians, it showed Darth Maul's helmet.
Oh,
That's very sick.
That's
love
the
it.
helmet I want. That's the one action figure I missed out on Walmart. Was the Maul DeLorean one.
Was it Saxon or was it just a generic?
It's just a generic
Soldier.
one,
Mhm.
but I wanted it for the armor. I like Saxon, but he has a weird haircut.
Both the Saxon brothers do.
So, Apollo Creed got saved by his money.
Yes.
He didn't get saved by
He let him live.
Yeah, come on now. Let's be real.
He
It
knew
was
exactly where it
calculated.
was because he showed him.
Was there.
He
Yep.
knew, yeah, he specifically shot for it.
Yep. What I was gonna say is,
Solid luck.
like, I liked the scene. It was after he took off with Baby Yoda, and all the fobs in the place start going off at the same time, and you're like, oh my god, this is gonna be bad.
That was intense. Like,
And then how, like, are they tracking the baby or are they tracking Mando? Like, how can they even,
the baby, I think.
like, biologically tracking it, maybe? Or
They
like,
could have put a tracking device in it. It was hooked up to some weird machine.
I don't know.
I mean, also given that it's an incredibly rare species too, I wonder if like just having the DNA for one of them. Like, I don't know how the tracking
Yeah.
fobs work, first off, but
Because
I
when
think
the
just
old guy,
having.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I think just having its DNA would make it easier to track. What were you gonna say, Sierra?
When Mando delivered the baby, the old guy was like with the fob like this, like to like right in
Yeah.
front of the baby, like, okay, that's real. So I
Mhm.
figure somehow.
Oh yeah.
I had a question about those fobs too, since Steve brought it up.
Yeah, how do they
Okay.
work?
Yeah, because it just lights up a red light and like, all right, we're all going after the Mandalorian. It's like, it's just a red light. How can you tell it's him?
The red light and two little sensors like
It's that Mandalorian right there.
Yeah, I'm just like, how the fuck is this working?
Yeah.
It's space
It
technology.
looks like a beeper.
Listen,
Oh,
space
thanks.
technology is not good enough. We need
Steve?
real answers.
Hmm?
Steve,
That is the answer.
the
I don't know
floor
how
is
it-
yours. The floor is yours to talk about the ice cream maker because I know you want to.
Yes, I absolutely want to talk about the ice cream maker. So,
Yes, that's
fun
what-
fact, some of you know about it, but to those that don't, in Empire Strikes Back, there was a very minor extra character by the name of Wilro Hood, who is famous for, during the Cloud City escape scene, running past the main cast carrying an ice cream maker in his hands. The carrying device that the client uses to give the Mandalorian his Beskar, the Camtono, that is an ice cream maker. So to have that level of detail and love for the crafts and the lore is just incredible. That's
Kind
And
of.
it keeps it cold.
I'm kind of upset though because they basically said in the Star Wars universe it's not an ice cream maker.
It's essentially a
it's
weird-
basically just a canister. It's like a big.
just a little safe.
See,
Mace,
I
yeah.
always liked the idea of him literally just running out with the last bit of ice cream. Like we're all gonna die.
Another fun fact. So at Star Wars Celebration, what a lot of people would do
The
is they
run-in?
would dress up as Wilro Hood, carrying ice cream makers, and they would do what is called the running of the hoods, which is where you just run through the halls of Star Wars Celebration carrying ice cream makers. And
It's amazing.
And when Star Wars Celebration comes back in Anaheim 2022, we're all participating in that.
I'm
It's
getting into shape
mandatory.
just for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start a GoFundMe then.
I saw that and I was like, Steve's gonna want to talk about this.
Yes.
Oh, that's so
Thank
funny.
you. Thank you. Yeah. No, it slipped my mind for a moment, and then I was like, oh yes, thank you.
I was like,
Colin.
he didn't get to talk about Boba Fett's Christmas gun.
No, I didn't get to talk about Boba Fett's Christmas gun. You're right.
You know, honestly, the ice cream maker is important, so I can't blame the guy.
It really is. What if that was the last bit of ice cream in the entire galaxy? If we've ever seen anyone eat ice cream?
I don't know.
Nope.
No.
Just get back.
He made the right choice.
I know.
I mean, it's otherwise it's probably like Dippin' Dots or something like that.
Definitely.
Ryan knows the pain I go through for ice cream.
Did they serve
I
Star
do.
Wars ice cream at Disney, Colin, when you went? I know they have some cool like drinks, but
Ryan, did they have Star Wars ice cream at Disney?
They did not, but they have the blue and green milk.
no.
Which one was the better one? I forgot. One of them was better. I forgot which one.
The green one.
Okay.
Not just milk. It's
No.
flavored. Ah.
It's like flavored.
It's a slushy, but you can get it with alcohol.
If you watch, it's on
Yes.
there's a documentary on Disney Plus about the opening of Star Wars Galaxies that just goes through like all the different stuff. It's like an hour and a half. They tell you what's in both drinks. So if you're very curious, you can find out online what's in both of those drinks.
There's also the Galaxy's Edge cookbook if
That's
you
true.
wanted to try and make it yourself.
Cool.
Oh, Sierra, make some for me.
I'll try.
You know I can't make things myself. Or I don't want to.
So I have a question. What makes you think Mando's so drawn to the child? Do you think it's because of his past, or do you think the fight with what's it called, something horn,
The Mudhorn.
I'm gonna
Mudhorn,
say
was
a mix
that
of both.
being saved by him was kind of like he just felt guilty? I'm just wondering, like, what made him go back, and he was like, like
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. It's almost like they sense each other. Like even when he was walking back into like the encampment to bring the baby back, he kept looking at him like, "Where are we going now? Like what's going on?" Like he could sense that something wasn't right. Like his uneasiness. Like they just have this connection.
He
Mm.
started asking questions like, "What are you gonna do with the baby?"
Yeah.
And I loved when they took off, when he just gave the little ball to the baby. That was the first thing he did. It's almost like,
His like little hand, like that's all you see is like his fingers.
and he's like, "Look, like no, you didn't just almost die. Like everybody's after you." It was just that little 5 seconds of peace between them. I thought that was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They have that bond. They're both orphans.
Yep.
They gotta stick together. I mean, dude, the first time I watched this, I'm sitting there, I go, he's obviously gonna go back to him, but it's still a dick move that he's dropping him off in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got new armor.
Yeah,
Now he has new armor.
basically just like he's basically a thief. He stole that armor.
Yeah, he did.
No, not true. Because he handed over the asset. He completed the deal 100%. Granted, he broke guild rules.
Okay.
Shame on him.
Then he just paid himself. He's like, all right, I'm hiring you, and just pointing at himself in the mirror to save that baby. It's like, oh, I gotta take this job now.
Someone needs to just make that into a comic at this point. That would be great.
It's not his fault that they couldn't hold on to the asset.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I wonder if he always had the intention of taking him back, or like just going to seeing like what they were doing with it, because then you see that like dumpster scene with the bassinet pod thing in the trash, and you're like, oh no, this is it's just escalating now. And I know you guys talked about it last time, that pulse rifle thing. Now that I see it like disintegrating people, I was like, this is awesome.
that thing's
That's cool.
sweet.
I
Yeah,
love
that
the
was so good.
disintegrator.
You know what?
Disruptor
Yes.
rifle. Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. I feel bad for the stormtroopers. They are brainwashed child soldiers with no purpose now. They can't leave the life because they don't know anything else. I need someone to come and save the stormtroopers. Maybe like teach them how to be like proper members of society. You know,
Oh, that version of save. I was gonna say the Mandalorian was saving them, all right.
I mean, come on. They were child soldiers who were brainwashed to just be weapons of mass destruction. Now the Empire's gone. They got no purpose. They're working for like, I don't know, $6.50 an hour, guarding like canister.
Was that the Galactic Empire stormtroopers, or was that the First Order stormtroopers that were
Yeah,
kidnapped?
the First Order, I believe, had the conscripted soldiers from birth. The Empire, I want to say, had open recruitment not long after the
Oh
close.
yeah, it's true because they're not Ezra joining Rebels. That's
Mhm.
right. Did you get to that part yet, Steve?
Yeah, I finished. I'm midway through season 4 now. So
We have a lot to talk
These
about.
stormtroopers are more than knowing of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're all dicks.
Still.
Like, haven't come across one of them that's even like a semi-okay person.
Jason Sudeikis is pretty cool.
That's one that punches it. Never.
So I don't know if any of you heard the story. You probably have, but like I think the first time he punched it, John Favreau off camera was like, that puppet cost like $5 million to produce, right? And he was so scared for the rest of the shoot that he like couldn't hit it anymore.
That is funny.
Also about this episode, Werner Herzog was very, very attached to the Baby Yoda puppet. And I think that there was one point when they were shooting where they were considering just doing the scene without the puppet in there and just doing it digital, adding the puppet digital later on. And Werner Herzog chewed out Filoni and John Favreau and were like, "You are cowards. Leave him in. Leave the puppet in the shot." And he advocated hard for the Baby
Good.
Yoda.
That is the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
They CGI'd it and it will look terrible.
You mean that is the way?
That is
It
the
is
way.
the way.
Is like that's what I like about this show so much is that they're not really relying all that heavily on CGI.
Mhm.
Things look more practical than anything.
The soundstage is in and of itself very impressive. Like the way they have that whole like panoramic backdrop and everything.
The opening scene I thought was great with the stars and the ship just kind of like pops into scene. And then the planet, I thought it was very like serene, like, you know, calm before the storm.
Well, and I love that. I mean, we all obviously love that final shootout and everything, but it just reminded me of, you know, old Western battles and old samurais and all that, you know, just the one lonely soldier versus everyone. And just how quickly the guild turned on him.
Mhm.
All right. How quickly
Hey.
Apollo was like, oh, look, this is
Money
my
over
partner.
everything.
Well, yeah, I know.
Money
wow.
over everything.
Oh, my
I would have
partner.
died
Great,
like in
man.
a second.
They only care about the dollar bill, y'all.
These are lawless times.
Yeah,
Gotta
I
get
mean,
paid.
anyone got anything else to say about this episode?
Super
I'm pretty
action-packed.
pumped for the next one too. Next one's
Yeah,
pretty good.
I have one more thought.
Go ahead, Colin, too.
Why doesn't he have a jetpack?
Yeah.
He couldn't afford one with all that?
That's what I was thinking.
It sounded like he hadn't undergone his training yet for the jetpack, right?
Yeah.
The best way to learn is to get one and try it yourself.
Baptism by fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, quite literally, one wrong
I
step.
mean, I taught myself how to ride a bike. I think he can teach himself how to use a jetpack.
I did jetpacking over water. I forget what it's called.
And let's not forget how fast these jetpacks are going, because he was keeping up with the ship at the end there.
Yeah. He got
Well, that's
there
because he is the
fast.
fat person jetpack.
Well, they kind of said it in, I don't remember if it was
Bad
Clone
person
Wars or
jetpack.
Rebels, but I'm pretty sure it was Clone Wars. That, you know, Mandalorian and a jetpack is worth quite a few ships at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Wish I had a jetpack. How come we don't have jetpacks like readily available to buy right now?
A little dangerous. And
And they do it over water in like Florida and stuff. Done it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, where it's like you're standing up and it's like
Yeah.
those giant things.
I mean, your feet are connected to like wires and they just shoot you up.
Think
It's
about
really
how much
hard.
less traffic there would be if we had just had jetpacks.
Yeah.
There's planes, there's jets, there's just
I wouldn't
jets.
fly.
Insurance companies would, I don't know.
I'm sure there's a company with an eccentric billionaire out there who's just dying to build a jetpack.
Oh, the person that just always says he's gonna do things and never does is the fakest billionaire in the world.
They should do a jetpack ride in Disney. That would be kind of cool.
They have a hot air balloon. I never did it, but I would love a jetpack instead.
Yeah.
Fun fact, 1960s Disneyland had a jetpack kind of showcase.
So random. How'd you know that?
Rocket Man. or something?
Ryan knows everything about Disney World.
I kind of know everything about Disney.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing about that.
Me and Ryan are gonna start a Disney podcast. Stay tuned.
Oh, boy.
Well, Disney theme parks or just theme parks in general. Stay tuned.
Sleepy.
I was pretending my screen was frozen. So we all done?
Well, you were kind of blinking, so that would be
I
pretty.
know. Anything else anyone wants to say before we end this?
See you next Friday.
Tuesday.
A Tuesday too, as well. I was saying Friday in terms of
Yeah.
Mandalorian talk. Yeah, but
Yeah, he's technically right. Yeah.
Steve's right.
Death Watch talk.
Because Paige doesn't want to read.
I don't blame her.
I got my own stuff going on. Read.
Well, the audiobook reads for you.
It does.
UFOs have the ability to.
All right, fam. That does it again for another episode. Make sure you throw on your nice Beskar armor and join us in 1 week for Chapter 4 Sanctuary. Like the video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, follow us on twitter.com/cutthesith, instagram.com/cutthesith, join the Discord, and tell Ryan to have a lovely day.